Greetings, magical people. It's Afura here, the writing witch, and today my book arrived. So if you haven't heard, I wrote a book, and I am just going to excitedly tell you a little bit about it. So you may have noticed how popular these journaling manifestation techniques are nowadays, like the 3-6-9 method, the 5-5-5 method, and scripting. These are nothing new, but with the world of witch talk and TikTok and whatever else, it has become really, really popular, which personally I think is really cool because I honestly just want everyone to know about manifestation. It was called The Secret, and it's like, why was this a secret? It's a law of the universe that applies to everybody, so why were we not taught this stuff in school? Anyway, I digress. Maybe it will be taught in school now that so many people are becoming aware of it. Now, with that being said, I have mixed feelings about the sort of TikTok and just social media in general versions of these things, simply because in a 2-second video, it is impossible to really get a full understanding of, first of all, why we're doing these little rituals, how they actually work, and how we're supposed to feel about them. So in my personal experience, I have been studying, researching, and experimenting with lots of different types of manifestation techniques for many years now. And honestly, I've learned a lot of really great skills, but I've also experienced a lot of BS. And one of the things that has been most frustrating to me in the manifestation world is the sort of generic one-size-fits-all type of vibe that seems to be popular nowadays. And this is not exclusive to just the quote-unquote law of attraction manifestation world. This is also true of the witchy world. I mean, how many times have you been scrolling on Pinterest or Instagram or TikTok or even YouTube sometimes and seen these little spell tutorials that tell you to use acorns on your windowsill and that will prevent your house from getting harmed. But it doesn't explain what that has to do with anything, and then when it doesn't work, you're sitting there wondering why. They didn't take the time to explain that the reason why they're using an acorn is because in the Norse tradition, acorns are sacred to the god Thor, who protects your house because he is the god of thunder and he protects your house from getting struck by lightning. And that has been wildly misconstrued. Obviously, that is an oddly specific example that just happens to come to mind, but I mean really, all of these cute little spell jars that you're seeing on TikTok and stuff, it's like, but why though? Why are they choosing those ingredients? Why are they doing it in that particular way? And why exactly should I believe that it's going to work? And here's the caveat to that. All magic and manifestation is A, subject to the same universal laws that apply to everything in this universe, and B, they are entirely subjective based on how you think and feel about them. So if you are just somebody who very easily believes anything that you read, maybe putting that acorn on your windowsill will actually trigger your subconscious mind to believe that your home is protected, even if you have no idea what the acorn originally represented. And if that is the case, good for you. Your life must be so much easier than those of us who think and are cynical about everything. If you're somebody like me who is maybe an air sign or someone that tends to be in their head, who tends to question everything and be a little bit skeptical, then you might actually have a harder time manifesting because it's harder for you to just take these ideas and concepts at face value. And you end up thinking outside the box, and that can kind of trip you up. But at the same time, that's nothing to be ashamed of, because if you're a smart person that asks questions and wants to understand how things work and wants to understand why you're doing these practices and whether or not they actually resonate with you, then I'm your girl. Thank you for being here. So that is where this book comes in. So as you guys know, I am huge into magic, and I'm also huge into mindset stuff, which is why I'm the writing witch and I'm obsessed with journaling. And so this book takes these concepts of 369, 555, and scripting, and it actually breaks them down into, first of all, what universal laws they are associated with, and gives you an understanding of why they're supposed to work. And then it also gives you an understanding of why, if you've maybe tried these things, maybe it hasn't worked. And the reason why is because your subconscious mind has to be on board with anything that you're doing in magic or manifestation. And if your subconscious mind can't get on board with it, it's probably not going to work. But if you can tweak the ritual to actually make sense with your own life experience, your own intuition, and your own understanding of the universal laws, then you can program your subconscious mind in a very customized, personalized, and intentional way. So for those of you guys who, like me, actually don't spend a lot of time on TikTok and might not be aware that these things are even going around, let me give you a quick overview of what these methods even are. All three of these methods are simply daily journaling practices that allow you to program your subconscious mind using affirmations. If you're watching this channel, chances are you already know what affirmations are, but if not, I will give you a brief overview here, and I will also link below my podcast episode where I go super in depth on what affirmations are and how to use them effectively in your magic or manifestation practice. So in short, an affirmation is simply a sentence or a phrase that you can say to yourself that helps you to get into the mood or the energy of whatever it is that you're trying to manifest. Affirmations in general, I could again go on and on about this, because even before these 369, 555 methods became really popular, obviously affirmations were very popular because the book The Secret, for example, talks about using affirmations. And a lot of people think affirmations are total BS, because a lot of the time, say it's somebody who is super broke and they have no idea how they're going to get out of debt, and then a manifestation expert tells them to say the sentence over and over again, I'm a millionaire, I'm a millionaire. And it doesn't work, because all it does is remind you how far your life is from the life of a millionaire, and it makes you angry and frustrated and bitter, and having that energetic vibration of anger, frustration, and bitterness actually lowers your vibration and might even make your financial situation get worse. So in my other content about affirmations, I like to point out that affirmations needs to be done in a very intentional manner. And that means that you need to, first of all, select an affirmation that doesn't feel so wildly different from your real life that it drives you crazy. And another tip is to choose an affirmation that actually is more about the desired feeling than the actual tangible result that you're trying to manifest. This is something that I've actually been super passionate about lately, because in my experience as a manifestation enthusiast, I have been through the ringer with manifestation advice that tells you that you have to be super ultra specific about every detail of what you're trying to manifest, and you have to be able to see it, hear it, taste it, touch it, smell it, visualize it, blah, 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 blah. And as I've actually recently discovered in my research on human design, there are actually people who that is how they manifest, by being really specific. And then there's also people whose energy naturally works in a completely non-specific way. I am one of those people, as it turns out, and that's why I had such a difficult, painful, excruciating, and traumatizing experience trying to get obsessed with these things that I was trying to manifest in a super specific way, and then getting very disappointed pretty much every single time. So if you have had that experience with manifestation, I just want to say you are not alone, and there is nothing wrong with you. You just have this magical gift where you incarnated into this lifetime with a sort of soul contract where all you have to do is tap into the feelings that you want, and the universe will actually surprise you with tangible results that are even better than what you could have possibly imagined. If you would like me to make a video on my experience with being a non-specific manifester, please do leave a comment because I would love to blab about that for hours. Okay, that was a little bit of a tangent, but I feel it was very necessary. Circling back around to the point, the 369 method and the 555 method in particular are methods of using affirmations in a more structured way. So instead of just coming up with an affirmation and repeating it to yourself all the time, you actually use journaling and a repetitive numerological method to ingrain this into your subconscious mind. So the 555 method is the most simple. You simply pick one affirmation, preferably like one sentence, so that you don't make your hands very tired while you're writing it 55 times a day. And you write it 55 times a day for 5 days in a row. This is actually my favorite of these methods for if you're someone that likes to do like a daily consistent journaling practice, because what it does is it allows you to get really, really up close and personal with this one intention. And you guys know me, I don't believe that there's like an instant miracle pill to manifestation, especially if you're someone who lives in the real world, has been through a lot of trauma and challenges in your life, and you are kind of a little bit on the cynical side. The fact is, we have to do our shadow work in order to manifest the lives that we desire. And shadow work is simply the art of processing through any negative emotions or trauma responses that might come up when we think about how different we want our lives to be. So during the 555 method, it can actually take around 55 minutes depending on how fast you can write and how long your sentence is, but you'll notice that as you're writing the same sentence over and over and over and over again, you will actually oscillate through a variety of different emotions. And this is not bad. It's not like that stereotypical thing they say about meditation where like if a negative thought pops up, that's really bad and you're doing it wrong. No. This is actually helping you, because emotions that have been buried deep inside of you have been manifesting your circumstances in the background of your subconscious mind. And so by allowing those emotions to come up and come out, be acknowledged and be released as you're sitting there writing your affirmation over and over again, you're actually clearing your energetic space, clearing your subconscious mind, and creating space for you to replace those negative feelings and beliefs with positive affirmations. I also love the number 5 because it actually represents a tipping point. If you're a tarot enthusiast like me, take a look at all of the 5s in the tarot deck. You'll notice that all of them have to do with a turning point. 5 is the middle point between the beginning of a cycle and the end of a cycle. Like in the tarot, we think of a cycle as being 1 through 10, or in numerology, we sometimes think of it as being 1 through 9. Either way, you can easily see 5 being that moment in the middle when you've been working on something, building a foundation, gaining experience, and now that action that you've been taking is starting to yield an outward result. And that is exactly the type of energy that we want to evoke when we are using the 555 method. So the next one is the 369 method. This one is really similar, it just is a little bit more technical. Instead of repeating the exact same sentence 55 times for 5 days in a row, you're going to break it up into smaller sections over the course of the day. You're also going to divide your intention into 3 similar but different sentences. So in the morning, you would write one sentence 3 times. And then in the afternoon, you would write a slightly different sentence 6 times. And then right before bed, you would write a third version of the affirmation 9 times. And the 369 method comes originally from the scientist Nikola Tesla, who is famous for being kind of a wizard of the science world. And he believed that the numbers 3, 6, and 9 were the magical numbers of the universe. I'm actually going to read to you some of the research that I discovered when I was in the process of writing this book. It ended up getting cut out because this is supposed to be a super short book that is mostly journaling space for you. But here is a detailed breakdown of the 369 concept for anyone like me who likes to know the details of why things work. The 369 method is inspired by Nikola Tesla's theory that if you know the magnificence of the numbers 3, 6, and 9, you would have the key to the universe. It's based on the binary system, by which natural modes of creation, like cell division, work by continuing to multiply by 2. So the basic binary system is 1 plus 0 equals 1, 1 plus 1 equals 2, 2 plus 2 equals 4, 4 plus 4 equals 8, 8 plus 8 equals 16, and the numerology of 16 equals 7 when you add the 1 and the 6 together. 16 plus 16 equals 32, and 32 equals 5 in numerology. 32 plus 32 equals 64, and 64 equals 1 in numerology. So from here, if you keep doing this binary system, you'll find that the numbers 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5 repeat indefinitely. If you look closely at the above pattern, you'll notice that the numbers 3, 6, and 9 are the only numbers that never show up. Tesla believed that these numbers were special because they were beyond the normal binary pattern. If you try applying the binary pattern to 3s and 6s, you'll find that their numerology always adds up to more 3s and 6s. So 3 times 2 equals 6. 6 times 2 equals 12, and when you add the 1 and the 2 of the 12 together, you get 3. 12 times 2 equals 24, and 24 equals 6. 24 times 2 equals 48, and 48 equals 12, which equals 3, and so on. So you just get 3, 6, 3, 6, 3, 6 over and over and over again. Interestingly, the number 9 never shows up in either of the two patterns above. And when all of the other numbers in the above two patterns are added together, they equal 9. So 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus 8 equals 36, and 3 plus 6 equals 9. 9 contains everything within itself. Even more astoundingly, if you apply the binary math equation to 9, you only ever get 9s. So 9 times 2 is 18, and the 1 plus the 8 from the 18 equals 9. 18 times 2 equals 36, and 3 plus 6 equals 9. 36 times 2 equals 72, and 7 plus 2 equals 9, and so on. Tesla believed that the numbers 3 and 6 were the master builder numbers, and the number 9 was the universe itself. Kind of like 3 and 6 were maybe the left and right hand, and the number 9 is the magician himself. There's a lot more interesting facts that you can learn about these numbers in sacred geometry, biology, history, mythology, and spiritual practices, of course. But the good news is you don't have to memorize any of this or even know how it works in order to use the 369 method. But if you're like me, you probably wanted to know. So in the 369 journaling method, the reason why we divide it into 3 different sentences is so that, first of all, we can get a more well-rounded view of our manifestation. We also are able to give the universe multiple different ways or avenues that this manifestation can take form. As I mentioned, whether you are a specific or a non-specific manifester in human design, the fact of the matter is, at the end of the day, we are all co-creating with the universe, meaning that anything that we manifest is going to be slightly different than what we imagined, or maybe the way that we get to it will be wildly different than the way that we imagined it. And so by having these 3 different ideas of how this energy can be evoked into your life, you're giving the universe room to allow it to happen without you being overly attached to any one specific way of going about it. This is immensely helpful for getting out of your way and allowing you to receive what it is that you're asking for in a way that feels flowy and good, instead of pushing and forcing, which is actually not so much manifestation as it is fighting an uphill battle. And who wants to be doing that? The 3-6-9 method you can do for 3 days in a row, you can do it for 6 days in a row, 9 days, some people even do it up to 33 days in a row, and you can just use your intuition to decide how to go about that. This book gives you the room to actually do it up to 33 times. And finally, my sort of other favorite method in this book is scripting. And this one doesn't involve any numeric magic or anything complicated at all. It's really just a simple opportunity to use your imagination. This is where you simply sit down and you give yourself permission to write about what you think it would look or feel like to manifest what it is that you desire. And with scripting, there really aren't a lot of rules to it. It's kind of like creative writing. You can just do whatever feels inspiring. But it is really important to use the present or past tense when you're scripting. That's kind of what makes it scripting as opposed to just writing a story, right? So by evoking the feeling of what it would be like to have your desired lifestyle now, you are sort of collapsing the timelines in a way and allowing the emotional aspect of manifestation to really shift your energy in the present moment. So if you're like me, you might want to write it as like a journal entry from your future self. Or if you are somebody who really likes to read fiction books, for example, you could almost write it as if you're the narrator and you're writing a book about yourself. But either way, it's really, really important to make sure that you are not getting overly attached to the outcomes of what you're writing about, because you might be surprised at how similar your story ends up being, or you might be totally surprised by the way that you manifest your desire. And that is really part of the fun and the mystery of being a human. One thing that really sets my book apart from other content on these types of methods is that I take it a step further and I give you journal prompts that are based on the actual universal laws of manifestation. Which again, if you've been hanging out around here, you probably know them. They are the elements and the seasons. So the elements, earth, air, fire, water, and spirit, are basically the building blocks of the reality that we live in. And by taking the themes of each of those elements and using them to create different affirmations to create a well-rounded view of your intention, you're able to have that cutting edge that maybe these randos on TikTok might not have. Also, being aware of the cyclical, seasonal energy of nature, we realize that the reason why we haven't manifested our intention yet is just because we're at a different point in our cycle. And by giving ourselves the grace and the ease of knowing that we can align ourselves with this cyclical energy, we are able to be more gentle on ourselves, be more patient with the process, and in turn be happier and healthier along the journey, which is of course what makes a manifestation successful, by embodying the positive vibrations in the moment even though you're not at your goal yet. So that was me talking your ear off a ton because I get very passionate about these subjects, but actually this book is extremely short. It is really a journal. It is primarily blank pages that just guide you through your 3-6-9, 5-5-5, and scripting methods. And there is some information at the beginning that in a really simple and concise way breaks down the concepts that I just discussed with you. So if you're like me and you need to return to the why should I believe this works every once in a while to realign yourself with your ability to believe in magic, that is all right here in the book for you. So if you would like a copy of my book, Manifestation Journal Magic, here's how you can get yours. So it hasn't actually come out yet at the time that I am posting this video. This is my announcement. It is actually going to be available on December 7th, 2021. So if you're watching this and you're on my newsletter list, you're like, what the heck? I thought that my copy was going to arrive in November. Well, the world is very weird right now. You may have noticed that like shipping and other production delays are happening just because of the state of affairs in the world right now. and so there was an issue with printing, so it's been pushed back a little bit, but 12/7 is supposed to be the set in stone date. Either way, if you would like to pre-order a copy, that would be really, really awesome. And what's cool about it is that you could actually get a little something extra if you decide to help me out with the Amazon algorithm. So if you want to pre-order a copy, you can first of all get a discount, because the more copies that get pre-ordered, the lower it will end up ultimately costing. And whatever the lowest price is at the time of the actual book launch, you will actually get refunded the difference between the amount that you paid and the amount that it ultimately ends up being. So you might pay $11.11 as the maximum price, or you might pay as little as $7.11. And then of course on the release date, it would go back up to $11.11 for everybody who is purchasing it from that point onward. Also, just because I love you and I'm so grateful for your support, if you do decide to pre-order, you can take a screenshot of your receipt, email it to me at the email address below this video, and also go to the shop link linked below this video and pick out any one digital product from my shop, and I will email you the printable file of whatever item you wanted. You also have the opportunity to request an advanced digital copy in case you want to help me with book reviews. Reviews are super important for helping my book to get found in the algorithm, and it's best if they get posted on the day when the book comes out. So just include in your email that you would like me to send you a PDF version of the book in advance, and you can read through it real quick, maybe try some of the methods if you want to, and then you can leave me a review on 12/7/21. And then you can come back to me with a screenshot of your review, and I will send you yet another digital product from my shop just to show my appreciation for your support. And of course, if you have already pre-ordered, thank you so much. This is really just such a turning point in my life, because I've been working on this stuff for a long time, and so to have the opportunity to actually publish a book that is really just going to help people to manifest their dream lives in a more aligned and authentic way, that is really a dream come true. So thank you for being here, and I will catch you guys next time. Blessed be.